Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Gurley Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Leighton. We have Brigitte, Cueter, Carino. All these are coming up and more after word from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
National Security Advisor Secretary Eduardo Año said on Thursday that U.S. Task Force Ayungin only provides support to armed forces of the Philippines operations in Ayungin Shoal and has no direct participation in rotation and resupply missions to the BRP Sierra Madre. The World War II era ship is grounded on Ayungin and is Manila's lone military outpost in the West Philippine Sea.
They're providing support to us, like for example, ISR, Maritime Domain Awareness. So, tumutulong sila sa pagbibigay ng mga information about that. But on actual direct participation, it is solely a Philippine Armed Forces, Philippine Forces operation. The Westcom supported by the Philippine Coast Guard.
In a statement, the U.S. Embassy said the task force enhances U.S.-Philippine alliance coordination and interoperability by enabling U.S. forces to support AFP activities in the South China Sea. The initiative also aligns with multiple lines of cooperation between Manila and Washington, including the Mutual Defense Board Security Engagement Board and the Bantay Dagat Framework. In a separate statement, the AFP said U.S. troops in Palawan provide technical assistance through the Information Sharing Group within the C2 Fusion Center in the Western Command. Año did not give details on when the U.S. task force was created, but said that its focus is not just centered on Ayungin Shoal.
That is internal to the side of the U.S. We have the U.S.-Philippine cooperation through the MDT. We have agreed actions taken for the whole year. So this is not centered just on Ayungin. It is, kumbaga, lahat ng aspect ng MDT, SEB, ang ating collaboration with the U.S. forces.
The Progressive Coalition Pilipinong Nagkakaisa para sa Soberanya called the presence of the U.S. task force a form of interference by Washington. Pinas spokesperson Antonio Tino said this just shows that the Marcos Jr. administration is dependent on U.S. input in handling the West Philippine Sea issue. Meanwhile, the U.S. House of Representatives has passed a resolution calling for more joint patrols in the South China Sea, not only between Manila and Washington, but with other like-minded partners as well. U.S. House Resolution number 837, introduced by Congressman James Moylam, also expressed opposition to China's false sovereignty claims to the South China Sea. The measure also reaffirmed America's unwavering commitment to Manila's defense in case of an armed attack against Filipino assets. China's Coast Guard and maritime militia have been harassing, blocking, and executing dangerous maneuvers on Philippine vessels conducting legitimate maritime operations in the West Philippine Sea.
Do you need to get your hands on some extra money right now? Maybe $25,000 or more? If you're a homeowner, now is a perfect time to get cash out. While homes in many neighborhoods like yours have gone up in value, you can use the money for anything. It's yours. You can buy an investment property, pay for college, pay off higher interest debt, or make home improvements. A cash out refinance is the perfect solution to get the cash you need. If you need $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000, now's the time. Home values are up, and so is your equity. We offer you a way to use it. No need to sell your home or use your savings. Call New American Funding now and speak to a cash out refi specialist and see how much cash out you can get.
Call New American Funding at 855-332-3929. That's 855-332-3929. Call 855-332-3929.
ViaTimes, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. ViaTimes for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. ViaTime has very interesting columnists. You name it, ViaTimes has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call ViaTimes at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of this show. Today, I have a very interesting, a very successful Filipino American who lives here in Chicago. And his name is Norman Paredes. Hi, Norman. Welcome to our show.
Hello, good morning po. Good morning sa lahat.
I like that background.
Yeah,
Filipino parole.
that's the Kapis Parol with the light dancing.
We'll talk about that later, okay? Okay, Mr. Norman Paredes is the owner-manager of the Paredes
Investment.
Paredes Investment
I
Corporation.
started on the real estate. That's why my name is kind of different from what I'm doing right now.
All right. Okay, Norman, please describe briefly for our viewing audience about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Norman Paredes. I moved here in the US straight to Chicago right away in the suburb, Carroll Stream in year 2000. I had my family with me, my wife and my 3 kids. When we moved here, my kids were like 5 and 7 years old, and then now they're all grown up. They're all professional, and
What year
we
was
still
that?
live here in Carroll Stream.
Yeah, what year was that?
Yeah. So my first 14 years in Chicago, I was working in a credit card company. We print credit cards, and then for some reason I said I'm not happy what I'm doing. So I said, in the Philippines, I'm also an entrepreneur. So I said I'm gonna start doing business again, and then that's the start of Paredes Investment Inc. My first 2 years I was doing real estate, where we flip and flop with the property, and I said, and the property keep going higher now. It's not feasible to buy. Said, and then I went to the Philippines in 2015, and I start amazed with this parole. I said, wow, I'm gonna bring this to the US. And that time there's only one supplier, which is ABS-CBN. And then I said, I'm gonna do this, and I started small, and now I'm doing it for like 9 years now. Every year it's been successful. Every year it's been sold out. So I'm very happy.
Wow. Okay. So you started it, this parole business, in 2015, did you say?
Yes.
So, wow, it's a really very interesting to see Filipino businessmen dealing with paroles, and it's a beautiful business. And okay, but it's kind of a seasonal kind of business, right? Only
Yes, yes, yes.
during Christmas season.
I do have a lot of side business. I don't know if you see the Mamang Sorbetero, the Mamang Sorbetero.
Okay, no, yeah.
I am the Mamang Sorbetero of Chicago. I'm all over the place during summer. And during winter, I'm in the computer doing stock market.
Oh,
Yeah.
hey.
So it's not. I know it's September to December. That's what I'm doing. But during non-season, I do a lot of stuff.
So
I some
do you
yeah, yeah.
distribute do you distribute the paroles around the Chicago area for businesses that carry parole?
Yeah,
Most
yeah. I do have some few stores here that I supplied. One is Lena in Bloomingdale, uh, one in Hackman State, in the Unimart, in uh, in Aurora, the Pinoy Corner, Mayo Oriental in Worth, Illinois, and one in Plainfield, the Manila Grocery, and one store in Indiana, close to the border.
keeps you very busy, right?
Oh yeah,
Starting in September
starting in September.
and ends in December.
Sometimes it's end before Thanksgiving. By
Before,
that time, I'm all sold out.
yeah,
Yeah.
I see. So this, I'm sure this gives you pleasure because it's about our Filipino
Oh
tradition,
yeah. Oh yeah.
and also well, I know it's some kind of a lucrative job too for you. I mean, lucrative business.
Yes, yes, it is. It's like
Yeah. So
you know, it's really saleable. So it's really not hard to market it. You know, it's people are coming in and they know when they search me on Google, when they search me on Facebook, my name is always on the top.
do you? Yeah, I saw you on Facebook.
Yeah,
You're my Facebook friend, and so do you get a lot of responses from Facebook?
I do, but most of my sales are coming from Google Ads and some marketplace like Etsy and eBay. Facebook Marketplace are getting there. I do have a lot of sales from Facebook Marketplace right now.
I see. Okay. Oh, do you also have a community project? Do you get involved with the community
Oh
project
yeah, oh
making
yeah,
making parole?
oh yeah. My involvement in the community, I donate parole from the organization for fundraising. I cannot count anymore how many Filipino association I have donated, and just recently the Santa Cruzan, I
Yes.
donated 2 paroles that they gonna do for fundraising. My own Filipino American Association of Carol Stream, which I am the current president right now, and all over the place. So they always message me, "Hey Norms, can you donate?" Of course, when they don't say 2 words, and I said, "Of course," and it's just as a payback to the Filipino community. And it's really a good fundraising. When they see parole, they really buy tickets, and it really helps their foundation.
Great, great. But your products, the parole itself, don't you find them kind of delicate to handle?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's really delicate. So when I ship it out of state, I had 2 boxes. The first box is a double wall, very thick, it's like the balikbayan box type of carton, corrugated. That's really thick, and a lot of bubble wraps. And then I'm gonna reinforce it with another box. and I paid extra damage insurance.
Okay, you have
It's
insurance.
pretty secured, but still out of 100 parole, there's always 2 or 3 getting damaged. It's nature of the capis is too fragile.
Yeah, because capis is really fragile, right?
Yes.
Right. And they are made mostly of capis shells?
Yes, capis shell. Yeah, and they added the electronic lights, dancing lights. It's really innovative Filipino craftsmanship that nobody can do it. Even the Chinese can do it.
Yeah, I bet.
They don't have that patience. I know. I do have a lot of. I import all my lights. I'm a direct importer of the lights and sending it to the Philippines. And when these people were asking, what are you gonna use with this? And then I showed them, wow. When I told them it's made of shell, they were amazed. How you guys do it? We're Filipino. We have plenty of time over there. It's really time consuming thing. It's really crap. It's really handicrafts with Filipino ingenuity.
So you mean to say you are an exporter from here, exporter of rice to the Philippines?
Yeah,
Right? Filipinos import from you, the Philippines import.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. What other products do you handle?
During the fiesta season, I do have a lot of T-shirt, the Filipino T-shirt thing, the Filipino cap. Sometimes I do have jackets, and I sell ice cream, the sorbetero.
Oh, do you also handle it during Christmas season for gifts?
I do have a lot of requests for the birthdays, weddings. During summer, I took a lot of event like weddings and birthdays. This year, I took around 4 or 5 events, but most of the time I don't have much time because it's really time consuming and it's not really easy. So I just but if they are insist like, please Norman, please, I really need you, then I'll give them much of my time. It's really not easy.
So are you always traveling back to the Philippines?
Every year.
I see. And that's a time to contact your suppliers.
Yeah, and check what they're doing.
All right, very interesting. Can you please tell our viewing audience how much your parole cost? Yeah, I know it depends upon the size.
Yeah, it really depends upon the size, but I can proudly say I am the cheapest in the whole United States. I'm the pioneer. I started 2015.
Do you have sir?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So my price range from 150 to 220. And the sizes are like 18 inches, 25 inches, and 30 inches.
How many how big are those paroles in your background there?
Oh, these are 25 inches paroles.
5 inches.
Yeah.
Wow. And then is it very easy to plug it? You can just plug it in?
Yeah, just plug and play.
All right. Very good.
But there's a button on the back of the parole that you could select the sequence of the light, fast or slow, or or a combination.
So Norman, okay, one last question. What is your mission and vision in dealing with Filipino products and handling it from here?
How I wish I can make a machine how to produce this product more faster so it can be available to the biggest market in the United States. Unfortunately, because the nature of the product is shell, there's no machine that could cut it automatic, so we could mass produce it and we can lower the price. But I always do some research. How can we improve and lower the price so that not only Filipino would appreciate this thing. So I want to make this one more bigger and introduce to United States or even the whole world, because this is really nice product.
Okay, well, we live here in Chicago. I know you live in the suburbs. And what store can you suggest to pick up some paroles?
Right now, the closest one is in Huffman Estate, because the stores in Chicago were smaller. I went there and talked to some owners, and they don't have much room to display my parole. That's the problem. So I went the suburb. They always come here. They always come here and pick it up, and I always give them a good discount when they pick it up.
Very good. Okay. Well, it's saying here that it's time for us to say adieu. And
Yeah.
thank you. I thank you. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Norman
Salamat po.
Paredes. Mr. Norman Paredes, the owner, manager of the
Let's say Paredes Parol.
Investment. And
Paredes Parol.
all right. Okay, Norman. We'll see you around. Please,
See you.
did I
I think I'll see you on the concert. I'm one of the sponsor.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I see the Cprtv logo over there in ViaTimes. So, and you see my logo over there, the Paredes Parol.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna see you over there.
Very good. Very good. And well, let's meet one of these days. And I thank you for gracing our show today. At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye. Bye, Norman.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica's segment of this show. Today, I have three very interesting young Filipino American leaders in our community. And believe it or not, I really saw these kids growing up almost. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited. And most of all, this lady here, Joy Molano. Oh, Joy, since she was a very little girl, I've seen her. I used to go to their place. Her mom was a good friend of mine. Hi guys, welcome to our show. And these young leaders are officers of a very, really old organization, and it has been there serving the community in the west suburbs. It is now called, it used to be Filipino Friendship Society of Bolingbrook. Now it's only known as Filipino Friendship Society. And these are the top officers of the organization. Let me introduce first the president, Michael Palmera.
Hello.
And the vice president, Choi Molano Vergara.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Rex Balsita. Wow, these kids really came
What's up?
from from families, really their parents were my contemporaries, believe it or not. And I'm so happy to see these kids um, really growing up to become leaders of the community. Welcome to our show. Okay.
Thank you.
We're happy to be here. We are so happy to be here.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for gracing our show today. All right. First things, what is whoever would like to answer, what is the FFS or Filipino Friendship Society?
The
What
Filipino
is this
Friendship Society,
organization all about?
yes, the Filipino Friendship Society was first started in 1974 by like-minded Filipinos who wanted to create a group where they can share their values, their traditions, and their culture. So in 1974, we were new in Bolingbrook. We were just months new. My father, Nick Palmyra, was visited by three people: Rudy Molano, attorney Doria, and one other member I can't remember. But they tried to convince my father to help them create an organization here in Bolingbrook, specifically for Filipino Americans. And that became the start of the FFS, where my father wrote up the articles of the Constitution for the FFS, and we started gathering people together, going house to house to recruit new members. And since people worked during the day, we had to go house to house at night, and uh, they it was very successful. People, mostly the wives of the families, were pushing the husbands to join, and we all got together and we formed the FFS, and it was a very interesting start, seeing that here in Bolingbrook, when we first started, it was all farmland. There were barely any houses. So when we needed help to build our yards, our homes, we recruited other Filipinos in the community, because back then there weren't we couldn't just call like a gardener to come out, because they didn't exist back then. So other Filipinos would come out, and then would help people put out the new grass on their lawn, help with their backyards. It was incredible. So that was basically our start, and eventually we grew to participate in the community with the parades, the Bolingbrook parade. Our first float, our first entry, we actually won three prizes in the parade, and which really garnered more Filipinos to join us. So that was a great event. So yeah, that was basically our start.
All right, very good. When it was founded, I remember I was there. I attended the first inaugural ball.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
FFS. All right, okay.
Yes.
All right. These days, since you took off the name Bolingbrook, what areas or suburbs is this organization serving right now?
We're serving areas around Aurora, Joliet, Naperville, basically the surrounding suburbs of the western suburbs around Chicago. So we actually have members as far as North Chicago and even some members in Indiana. So yeah, it's we're pretty much spread out.
Okay. Yeah, Joy. Okay, I've seen you always accompanying your mom or your dad around that time. Okay, now that you're an officer of this organization, um, you are the vice president of how do you see yourself serving the organization?
Hi, Tita Veronica. It's good to see you. Thank you to Rex and you for scheduling this historic time, actually, as we're coming back and reuniting. You know, as vice president, trying to help get some of get reorganized and re-energized with the group and helping our executive board and trying to connect with members and help really I think we're going back 50 years when we were forming with our, you know, our parents were forming the group, and we all have to do a little bit of everything in starting an organization, a community organization, a business, what have you. It really takes a really large team effort to restart and energize a group. So just trying to play the role that I can to help Michael in his presidency, but also uh trying to work with the board and help each other in our collective goals that we have and remind families. I think one of the roles that I play in particular, now living here and raising my family, being able to connect with new families that are in the area, connect with old friends. RJ and I were in the dance troupe with Auntie Alice. And so with Michelle, Santa Maria, Calma, we were all in the dance troupe around the same time. So trying to bring the generations back where my sisters have friends from the beginning. They were a little bit older than Michael, but they were the teenagers of FFS when it first started, and they remember the Christmas parties and the picnic and the cotillions and the Santa Cruz Suns. So trying to connect, you know, our families that are still here from the 70s and connect them to what we have today in the future.
All right, very good. Okay, how about Rex? Rex, how do you see, I mean, the involvement of these young leaders? How do you see yourself as one of them, and what do you plan on doing to make the organization to become bigger and more serviceable to the community?
Yes, thank you. And hello, Tita Veronica. And I must just say that it really is an honor to be in the presence of an icon and a celebrity of Chicago. You are known all across, and I'm really a little nervous being around, having being interviewed by you. You are a celebrity. Everybody knows you. So yes, with FFS, it's funny because I think the story of the new board and the second gen taking over, it kind of just unfolded really naturally. All of us didn't really know exactly how we were going to do this, but we all wanted to do it in some way or another. And we all had our own kind of ideas, but it was all kind of heading towards the same direction. So I think for me personally, what really hit close to me was really just reuniting this second generation. All of us were together and grew up together, led by our parents, the first generation, forcing us to go to all of these parties and, you know, gatherings that none of us wanted to go to. But I cannot tell you how grateful that we were put in that position and forced to go to these, because looking back at all of these people in the community that we know and that we still talk to. So that really kind of hit close where I want to continue that with the third generation. I want not only the second generation to get reunited, but I want the third generation to unite, because that is something that is probably not really happening. I don't think that we have to do, social events every week or every month, but just the ones that we do, we want to focus on, the second gen reuniting, the first gen uniting, while still upholding that legacy that's being handed down from our first gen.
Terrific. Okay. Maybe the three of you could give me, in your own mind or memory, if the time, a very favorite recall in your memory, that when you were going with your parents, your mom or your dad, around the community, what is the thing that really get imprinted in your mind? Can you please tell me? Okay, I'll start with the president, Michael Palmera.
I think it would have to be, for me, it would have to be the Christmas parties.
All right.
When I was young, I remember the Christmas party. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and we would have the Christmas parties at the Park District. And I remember the Santa Claus would come out, and he would start passing out the toys, and I was like, I'm not gonna get anything. I'm not gonna get anything. And then as everyone's name was being called, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get anything. Well, Santa calls my name, and then he brings out this big present, and I was like, wow. That was amazing. I forgot what it was, but it was like this big present, and it was the biggest one in the bag. I was like,
Oh,
oh my
wow.
goodness, okay. Yeah, that was really special for me. So,
Great.
yeah.
Memories. All right,
Yeah.
Joy. What was it?
Oh gosh. Okay, so my dad, as Michael said, has been part of FFS, and my mom, of course. That is true. The wives did a lot of influencing their husbands and partners, and so, you know. Gosh, there's so many. It's hard to just pick one because some of my favorites are with people that I'm with on eBoard, like RJ and Michelle, and dancing for the Filipino Friendship Society and representing the dance troupe. And we did that for over a year or so, and now we still see each other. On social media, or have a reunion of sorts in an upcoming year at events. So being part of the Filipino dance troupe was something special because we got to do some things and got to meet other Filipinos in the community that we didn't go to school with necessarily. We all didn't go to St. Dominic, or we were in different grades. I am going to share a couple more just because I'm that old. But I would have to say, being part of my own cotillion in 1993, and being part of my sister's cotillion as one of her flower girls, and seeing just the other cotillions that we had as a part of FFS. And you'll see Tito Romy be the father, but also the father figure for other debutantes. And we have our cotillion souvenir books. And so I know back then, I have to agree, back then we didn't know all what it would mean or how it would impact us. But seeing that we got to do that with other debutantes in the Filipino community and their families, and Decades later, we can remember, the dance practices, the escorts that we've had, and friendships that we've made. And I think that's why we're still called the Filipino Friendship Society. I could go on and on because there's a lot of events that happened, but those are probably the two because it mixed friendship with my family. The cotillions did. So those were some special moments.
Terrific. Thank you. And you, Rex?
Yes, I will definitely add to the Filipino dance troupe memory. I I'm a little younger than Joy, and I was forced to attend uh a practice for I didn't really know what it was, but my mom dragged me to Tita Alice's house to practice to potentially start practicing folk dance. I've never danced a day in my life. I was really young. I think I was only maybe in uh, uh fifth grade. I don't know, 10 years old or 12, something like that. And I didn't want to be there. There was only Tita Alice's son, who was the same age as me, and these two other girls, and there was the four of us practicing, and I'm doing like these childish dances, these really, I don't want to dance with girls. But I had, she kind of forced me. My mom, let's just say she forced me. And I did it, but what really surprised me, well, I was super shocked. I don't think anybody know this, Joe, you don't know this, but I didn't had no idea that it was part of a bigger group.
Oh,
So within a couple weeks or a week or two, there was officially a practice with everybody, and there was like 30 kids there. And that's when I met Joy, a bunch of other kids in the community that I knew from my sister's friends, and I was just like, wow, I didn't know everybody was here, and it really was just just an amazing time throughout those couple of years. We were a big production. It was a very big deal. We were traveling, doing other, not just FFS events, but we were doing all types of events for the Filipino community. We had young kids to middle to older, all the whole age range, and represented in our group. And definitely when we would perform for FFS, the huge Christmas parties, the induction ball, or the cotillions. I mean, those were our big, huge performances that we were gearing up towards. But outside of that, I definitely want to add that, when my dad, he was president for in 89 to 91. So that was definitely some of I think this was even before I was dancing, and I just remember it was the coolest. My dad's the president, and like I felt like he was the man and he was in charge, and to see him up there talking on the podium and addressing, and that just really stuck with me. Just how cool it was to be the son's, president, president's son. So
terrific. Fun memories. One quick
yes.
question before we sign off. Okay. One by one. Are you planning to have your children and grandchildren uh, with these legacies that you have experienced from your parents?
I'll take that one.
Yeah.
Um, Tita V, I have three kids with my husband here in Bolingbrook. And, we had our induction last, earlier
October
this
6th.
month,
Yeah.
actually, just a few weeks, what is that, 4 weeks ago? And, and I think my kids and my nieces and nephews actually, because they participated in my mom's productions, whether there was Santa Cruzan or another church event. And so, my nieces and nephews have been part of FFS and my sister's kids. And, when I had when we started meeting, and I had talked to my husband about it, And I think wholeheartedly we wanted this to be part of our family, and bring, some of these memories for even my nieces and nephews. I had family come out from Texas actually for the inauguration, and it was the first time that she saw a Tinikling dance. And I was like, wow, and they saw the two dances that we had, because of FFS, you know. For my kids, they've heard about things or stories that we have shared, or my sisters have shared, or my husband has shared in their own, them growing up. And now they can experience it. And so they my second child was asked to escort Rex's niece, and I think they understand a little bit of obligation, but I think they also understand what this means to our culture and carrying it through the next generation. So I think we'll see that. And I as a parent now, I want to balance it a little bit, but I think they understand what the legacy means. As my dad and mom were also officers and presidents, and all of our parents were. And so I think they understand why we would like them to carry this on, and we'll see. We'll see. I think there's a lot of I think what I can share with the next generation and raising some and being around some of the next generation, I think they're just as prideful, if not more, of our Filipino culture.
Great. Terrific. Mike or Rex?
I have no kids, so but we definitely want to have
kids.
we definitely want to have
nephews or
the youth
nieces or-
involved. We definitely want to have the youth involved in our organization, and we want to influence them to take pride in their Filipino heritage, their history, their culture and traditions, and either through in the classroom or through their parents or their friends. It's important for them to learn our values and to carry that on to the next generation. So yes, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. These are part of, this is not just our values, just as this is our culture, this is our legacy, this is everything that we've known. And I think to add to Joy, I think that this third generation is genuinely interested. And we're kind of seeing this reaction, the support coming from third gen. So now it's really just up to us to help curate some of these events, really make them exciting. I mentioned about reuniting the second gen. I really want to be a spark plug and be an example of second generation. I want to personally reach out to as many second generation friends and old friends that I've had, to just get this word out to them, to hopefully, get their support at, at least one event, if not, some events, in our future, and just, bring us back together, to just have network and just have a good time, catch up on life, catch up on what we're doing, have our kids. I don't have kids either, TTV, but I have a lot of friends with kids. I have my own nieces and nephews, and it really warms me to think about what we can do and what we could bring to them and teach them what our parents taught us. And so, we want to expand out of Bolingbrook. We want to be an example for all of Chicago, and so hope to be involved with other organizations and do partnerships and collaborations. So there's a lot of, it's exciting. It really is exciting to think about. And again, we're here to reunite and reignite the FFS.
Which is our slogan.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Hi. I can't hug you. Don't touch me. Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protest over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in school.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
I think the norm for our communities has been to just stay silent and keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer that question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
An advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be someone to start that conversation.
Yeah. You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents. This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon. This is Brigitte Carino Cueter bringing you this week's local news from our community. Illinois workers can now search State Treasurer Michael Freerich's iCash website to see if unpaid wages and penalties pursued and collected by the Illinois Department of Labor are waiting for them to claim. The addition of recovered wages to Treasurer Freerich's missing money site is the result of a change in the law that State Senator Robert Peters and State Representative Marcus C. Evans Jr. shepherded through the General Assembly last year. The Illinois Department of Labor, IDOL, investigates wage theft and recovers back wages when it finds that an employer has underpaid workers in violation of state law. Workers don't always know they have money coming their way, however. Wage theft investigations take time, and sometimes a worker may move or change phone numbers by the time back wages have been collected, making them hard to locate. The Alliance for Aviation Across America today applauded Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker for recognizing November as Aviation Appreciation Month. Airports in Illinois support an annual economic impact of $95.5 billion. Importantly, general aviation and our network of airports support the livelihood of towns and cities throughout Illinois and across the country, said Devin Austin, Interim Executive Director of the Alliance for Aviation Across America. General aviation helps businesses of all sizes operate more efficiently, especially in rural communities, and supports critical services. Agricultural aviation, for instance, treats up to 4 million acres of farmland in Illinois annually. Secretary Jean Elias, who also serves as the state librarian, and Pastor Neil will join families from the Bronzeville neighborhood to hand out books to promote the state's annual Family Reading Night, which takes place on Thursday, November 21st. Jean Elias will also read books to children at the event. Jean Elias and Pastor Neil will distribute free books for families from each age group, pre-K through 5th grade, as well as coloring books and bookmarks. The event will also feature game stations and community art projects for attendees. Illinois Family Reading Night is an annual statewide event sponsored by the Secretary of State and the Illinois Center for the Book at the Illinois State Library that encourages families to spend quality time reading together. Schools are starting to complain about the huge sums of money they're spending to push back against concerned parents. From woke curriculum battles to fights over student health policies, these school districts claim they're burning through their budgets just to deal with parental backlash. Are they really having a tough time, or are they just trying to cover up their failures? Some conservatives know that schools should focus on teaching children, not getting involved in politically charged issues. But now we see school boards scrambling to throw cash at problems that should have been addressed with common sense in the first place. This debate is a wake-up call. Should tax dollars be used to battle parents who have every right to voice concerns over their children's education? It's a tough pill to swallow for many who see their tax dollars being used to undermine the very values they hold dear. Parents are pushing back harder than ever, and the education system is feeling the strain. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Brigitte. See you next time.
It's more fun in the Philippines.